This is an example of what not to do, and he's someone that I have only gained respect for. So Scottie Hobbs, top 10 coach 2 times, 4-time elite coach, 65 months in Success Club 10, Million Club member, and so can you guys give him a warm welcome?
Okay, so she made me a little bit emotional up there, and I have 20 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I usually talk for like an hour, so I'm going to have to use some notes to keep myself in line. But I'm going to start with a joke because she made me emotional, a little story this morning. All 5 of my kids were supposed to be here with me today, and so my daughter really wanted her friend to come so they could hang out together because we're here in Phoenix with them. And so she says, hey, maybe we can leave one of our other kids home because we only have enough seats. Leave Ellie home was which one, and bring her friend. And so I went with her to ask her friend. I was like, hey, do you want to come with Kina to the Super Saturday to hear the story? And she says, no. I was like, okay, but I'm going to tell my story. I got to tell my story and you can hear it. She's like, I already heard that. It's boring. So, I like my story, so I'm going to tell it here. I think I am like horrible, or like I would say 97% of you guys are better at a lot of things, much better than me at things, but I feel I'm really good at telling stories and helping people relate and have a transfer of belief that makes them take action in their life. So just so you guys have an idea, I've been a full-time stay-at-home dad now for 4 years. If it weren't for Beachbody, the process of Beachbody, of the 4 vital behaviors, saved my life. I wouldn't have my 2 sons, I don't think, if it weren't for Beachbody, because we wouldn't have been able to afford them. We worked too much. So I feel really blessed. And also my parents are retired and work for us, help us with our Beachbody business, help us with the kids. So I feel really blessed to be here. And there's incredible leaders here. When Brigitte was saying that, I was like, you guys have an awesome place. Awesome place to surround yourself with great people. And so, you know, it always wasn't like that. You know, being a part of the Million Club and seeing Stephanie achieve that and Brigitte's achieved that, that was the easiest thing I ever did in Beachbody. The hardest thing was believing that it was possible for someone like me. Because I grew up my whole life thinking that I was a failure, that I was never good enough, and just through experiences when you're a kid, you start to build a limiting belief about what's possible for you. And I had low self-esteem growing up, and I never thought it was possible for me to have happiness or success in my life. And so that held me back 8 months from being a coach. I fell in love with P90X, I fell in love with sharing it with people, but I was afraid to have another failure. Like I was moving up through my job, working 12 hours a day with my wife at work, and that was like, I felt that's all I deserved. Like I could pay the bills, but that's what I deserved because I didn't feel worthy of success because of some of the mistakes I made in my past. Being at times an alcoholic, being addicted to cocaine in my early 20s when I was playing music. So I just felt like, well, I have this 12-hour-a-day job and working Saturdays. My wife works because I deserve that because I made a lot of mistakes. So when I say Beachbody saved my life, it did save my life. It helped me gain confidence in myself. I remember my first Super Saturday I ever spoke at, I had like 8 minutes to speak, and I had a paper with everything I was going to say and the first transformation story of someone I helped. And I lasted about 3 minutes, and I was shaking like this. And it lasted 3 minutes, and I didn't even share the photo. And I was share. It was how I love helping people get results. So that's kind of my story. And like Brigitte says, I have been extremely consistent. I've shown up for 5.5 years, every single day, no matter, despite what's going on in life, the struggles, the trials of raising 5 kids, of everything that happens. And we all have bad things happen in life, and trials come up. But I've stayed consistent. And I always wondered, so today I'm going to deliver more of I'm usually a preacher and storyteller, but I'm going to tell some stories, but I'm going to deliver some ideas for you guys that will help you guys stay consistent and disciplined to your goals and your dreams. So I remember, I always used to question and ask myself, like, why can't people stay committed? Like, the 4 vital behaviors are so simple. How come they can't stay committed to their goals? How come they can't just do it? Like, show up every day and just do your workout, drink your Shakeology, invite people to join them, post on social media, and do your personal development. I just didn't understand it. And then it was one day I realized that it wasn't a lack of, let's say, discipline. It was a lack of purpose. They don't have a purpose or a bigger reason for what they're doing, which is why they're not drawn and pulled forward to stay active in building that and going after that goal or that dream. So how many of you guys here have a big goal with Beachbody? Raise your hand. I want to see almost all of you guys. And so I fully feel in life that God places goals and dreams in our life, and there's a way for us to achieve them. But we got to have faith in Him and then put in the work. So there's a story that I use in my life that I'm going to briefly share with you guys so you can understand kind of how I think. It has to do with the 3 bricklayers, and there's these 3 bricklayers, and they all do the same job. They all get they get paid the same amount of money. And we'll just say it's $5 a day, and their job is to lay bricks. And so this guy comes up to them, and the first guy, he's laying bricks, and he's just, he's grudgingly doing it. You guys know that guy at work. It's just like, another day, living the dream, another day in paradise. Complaining about the heat, complaining about how much he's sweating, the blisters on his hand. That's what the day looks like for him. And when you're around him, that's all you hear. So he's not happy doing his job. He makes his $5 and comes, and he's complaining about it all the time. So he goes to the next guy, and he's laying bricks just the same. But he's not really complaining. He's just doing it. He's just doing his job, showing up every day. And he goes up to me and he says, "Hey, what do you do?" And he says, "I lay bricks, and I'm building a wall." And so he's like, "Oh, that's interesting." He's not complaining, but he's doing his job. He sees the other guy, and he's whistling. He's like talking to people. He's smiling. And he's engaging with people at his job. He's doing the same thing. He's laying bricks. So he goes up to him and he says, "What is it that you're doing?" And he says, I'm laying bricks and building this wall, but I'm building this grand cathedral. And one day, thousands of people are going to come worship God here. My family's going to come here, and thousands of people for generations are going to come worship in this cathedral." And so it made sense to him at that point why he was happy doing his job, because he had a bigger purpose and meaning to what he was doing as he was doing his work. They all got paid the same amount. They all had the same job, but one was happy doing it. And so I look at that and look at my Beachbody business, and if you don't have a bigger purpose or meaning, like the daily activities of Facebook messaging or any of the things we do as coaches can seem boring or not fun if you don't have a bigger purpose and meaning to it. So that's one of the things that I want you guys to think about is which of those 3 bricklayers are you? And I want you to get excited and have a bigger purpose and vision so that you can stay committed to it, but that you can have fun doing it. Because this business is so simple. If you can be confident in where you're going and your mission as a coach and have fun with it, that's what's going to attract people to want to be a part of what you're doing. If you're grudgingly doing it, laying bricks in that manner, no one's going to want to be a part of that with you. So I want you guys to think about that. Which bricklayer are you? So write down in your notes so you can later go back to your goals and your dreams or your vision, whatever it is, and get more clear about that so you can know why it is that you do what you do. So why is it that I do what I do? Like, why am I here today wanting to share with you guys? Why am I in 2 weeks doing a team retreat with Brigitta's coming out, and Eric and Martin and some of our coaches? Because I love doing what I do. And like I told you guys, I fell in love with P90X. I was sharing it with everybody. I was super passionate about it. It gave me self-esteem. I was proud of myself. It was like, I felt like my entire life I put my energy into bad habits to make me fit in to different crowds. And so with Beachbody, I felt like I had like a good place to put my energy and create good habits and do good. And I began to see self-worth, and I began to be proud of who I was. And that completely, like when I said, the process changed my life. That's when it really began to change my life. But I was afraid for 8 months to join as a coach. It took me 8 months from when I found out about Beachbody that I could be a Team Beachbody coach. It was really because I had fears and doubts. I saw, like my coach Lindsay, seeing success, and I saw others. I saw Danielle seeing success, and I didn't feel worthy of that success. That wasn't for me. I felt that I worked 12 hours a day. How could I find time to do this with my wife working at nights and raising 3 little girls by myself at night? And so that held me back for 8 months. But the day that I joined Team Beachbody was April 11th, 2011. And it was 18 days after the birth of my 3rd daughter, Alina. And I remember getting to work just before 5 in the morning, and I ran the shipping and service department. And I remember every day I picked up my mail from the lockbox, because life was so busy. Like I would throw all the junk mail away in the shipping room, put the bills into my lunchbox so I could do them at home, and just to save a little bit of time. And I remember that day I saw some bills, and they were from the doctor, from the hospital, and it was the doctor bill, the hospital bill, the anesthesiologist bill from the birth of Ellie. And I was like, okay, I gotta see these. And so I opened it up, and the together they totaled about $3,800. And at that time, like, I didn't work 12 hours a day because I loved my job. And Gabby didn't work at the Hilton because she loved working at a hotel at night. I did that because we could hardly keep up with the mortgage. And so that extra $3,800 was heavy on my chest that morning. And I don't know, have any of you guys felt this feeling where it feels like the world's spinning around your head, like you have this really heavy weight? And I want you to think about the times that you felt like that. That's how I felt, and I was scared, I was anxious on how, questioning things like, do I take another job? Do I work more than 12 hours a day? I was trying to figure that out. And that morning, all those fears and doubts that I had about becoming a Team Beachbody coach, that morning, my fear of not knowing how to take care of my family became greater than my fear of failing as a Beachbody coach. It was great. I didn't know how to take care of my family. That was scarier to me than being rejected by my friends on Facebook or posting on social media or making a video and all those things. So that day I committed that I would help as many people as it took do P90X, so that's all I knew at the time, so I could bring my wife home from work. So that was my greater reason. Like, I created this picture of what my life would look like, not having to only see my wife when we could run into the front of the Hilton with the kids, run in and grab the chocolate chip cookies off the desk, and then get out before the boss came out and she would get in trouble. So I pictured what it would look like to have her home, what it would look like for me to not have to take every overtime shift. And it began to become very clear to me, and I decided that I would do whatever it took. Not, our saying is decide, commit, succeed. It wasn't decide, commit, quit when it gets hard. It was decide, commit, and bring my wife home. And I remember asking my coach, what does it take? I need to know, how do I make like $10,000, $12,000 so I can bring her home from work? And she said, I can't promise you the $10,000, but I promise that your income will be a direct reflection of the number of lives that you change. And that day I decided I would change as many lives as it took. I didn't even know this was a network marketing company. I thought I had to sell like 500 P90Xs to make $10,000. So I got out there and I started inviting people on a massive scale. So, that's why I did what I did. That's why I worked super hard to bring my wife home from work. But there was this moment, and there's this quote that says, the two greatest days of your life are the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. And the day that I found out why wasn't that first day I signed up as a coach, because I was just doing it to bring my wife home. It was 8 months into my journey. I was well on the way to bringing my wife home. I could see it coming. I was making $300-400 a week, 500 sometimes. I was hitting Success Club 10 every single month since I started. I was like, she's coming home. This is awesome. Like, I could see it, the light at the end of the tunnel, through those struggles that I was going through as a brand new coach. And I was homesick for 3 days, which is obviously stressful as well when you lose the income and you don't have any sick days. And I remember it was a Friday, and I remember I hadn't really gotten out of bed for 3 days, and the men in here know what that's like. The women know what it's like when your husband gets sick. It's like the world's ending. That was for me. And Friday, she's like, hey, you might start feeling better if you get up, take a shower, get dressed, and maybe go outside. And she's like, Keena's getting home from the bus in just a few minutes. How about you go pick her up from the school bus? So I got dressed, showered, went out the front door, and we live in the back of the cul-de-sac. I was halfway down the cul-de-sac, and I remember the bus pulling up and stopping. I remember the squeak of the brakes as it stopped. I remember the sound of the door as it squeaked open. And I see these two little hands grab the metal rail. And this little girl looked up at me, and I saw this joy in her face that I hadn't seen really. Like, she's happy, but I saw this joy, and it was because her daddy was picking her up from the school bus. And I'd never done that before. And it stopped me, right there in my tracks. I had tears running down my cheeks, and I realized or questioned myself, like, how many of these moments have I missed? Like, how many moments am I going to miss in the future if I don't change things? And I remember just the joy in that moment of, like, having this bigger picture. That, like I said, that's the day I realized why I was put on this earth. It was to be a father, to raise my kids, to be 100% present for them. But I also realized that if I could do this failure, or this guy that didn't feel worthy of any type of success could do it, that I could teach, mentor, help, inspire other people to go after whatever dream or goal they have in their life. And that's the day that I decided that not only was I going to bring Gabby home from work, that this is what I wanted to do for my career as well, that I wanted to teach and inspire and help others know how to set goals, find a clear vision, to do something they love. And I don't care if it's Beachbody or not. I want them to do something that they're happy with their life. And so that's why I love coming out to Phoenix. When Brigitte asked me if I could come out here, like, yes, because there's people in here that I know if they can relate to my story and take action upon leaving here. And I'm the guy that said, I don't say, like, I hope that one person's inspired here. That's small thinking. I hope every single one of you guys come out of here and are inspired to take some action to get more clear on your vision and your goals. And I'm going to give you guys 5 questions that I ask myself. So I told you I was going to teach you something. I got to it. How much time have I been, just so I know? 13, okay. So 5 questions, write these down. The number 1 question, and these are 5 questions that I ask myself every single day. Because I remember someone teaching me in the beginning of my journey, once I made the commitment to do this, if you can look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and say, if my coaches or team or challengers did exactly what I did today, would they be successful or would they grow? So I ask myself that every night. And the first question I ask is, what is your why or your reason? So I want you guys to write that down. What is your why? I just told you guys my why, which is to bring my wife home, to be a present dad, to help other parents that are praying for an answer to get out of their current situation, whatever it is. That's my why, that's my reason. So I want you guys, as you leave this Super Saturday today, to really write down and write out your dreams and goals, what it is, how you actually want to spend your life, what you want to do with your day, and write it out in vivid detail. And I wish I could go like 3 hours into this and help you guys write that out, but we're not going to do that today. The second one is, what is your IQ level? And this is kind of a trick question. IQ for me means I quit. And winners quit all the time. They just quit the right things. They quit the right things at the right time for the right reasons. So for me, I quit watching the news. I quit hanging out with losers. I quit self-sabotaging. I quit telling myself I wasn't worth it. And then there's other things, right, like, which will lead into my next one. I quit playing softball, I quit playing video games, I quit drinking. All these other things that I quit that didn't align with my goal and my purpose in life. Number 3, which is what I love about you guys here in Phoenix, it says, who do I need to associate with today to grow? So you guys have incredible leaders here, and I give you guys a shout out for all being here, because there's incredible people here. Not just the leaders that you see that have achieved what they have achieved, but every single one of you guys that are here, working on growing yourself. You guys should give yourself a pat on the back for being here and being around those people. And it's so important that you surround yourself with those people. And you know, they say that you become like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So you guys are in the right spot. And another thing that I always think about at the end of the day when I ask myself these questions, it's if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so ask yourself daily, are you surrounding yourself with people that can help challenge you to grow? And if you're not, you need to make sure that you get yourself into those situations. So the next one is, what am I willing to sacrifice? And I'll just self-plug my YouTube channel right here. Just go search Scottie Hobbs Sacrifices. I have a video that a lot of people use. I talk about all the sacrifices I made, like sacrificing sleep. When I was working hard to bring my wife home, I worked 5 to 5. I raised my 3 girls by myself from 5 to 8, and then I worked 8 to midnight, 8 to 1, and was back up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Because I was serious about bringing her home. I wasn't just hoping I would. I was serious on doing everything I could to bring her home. So look at the things that you need to sacrifice in your life. And the best way to do that is just write down what you're doing. Everything that you're doing every single day, write it down. And one of the first one, right, was your goal, your reason. Write that down. Be clear on what your goal and your reason is. And then write down your activities, what you're doing, and where you're spending your time every day. And if there's anything on that list that doesn't align or help you move closer to that goal, then it needs to be gone for right now. And the thing I remember about, and I was talking with Gabby about this, and I was playing softball 2 nights a week. But to pack my kids up, to get there, stretch, play, come home, took 3 hours 2 nights a week. And softball did not move me closer to bringing my wife home from work. Even though it was something that I loved, I had to eliminate that at that time. But I remember telling my softball coach, who's now one of my 2-star diving bell coaches, I said, I can't play softball right now because I'm working on bringing my wife home from work. I'm really struggling. But give me 2 years and I can come play softball every single day. And so I just had to make those sacrifices, had to let people make sure that my activities aligned with my end goal and purpose. So you personally need to hold yourself accountable to that, being clear on that vision, and then also making sure that your priorities, your activities align with what that is. So That one again was, what am I willing to sacrifice? And one of the biggest things that I had to sacrifice, my love language is words of affirmation. I like to be told that I'm doing a good job. That's what fuels me to do more. So that's why I love Beachbody coaching, because you get people all the time that say thank you. So I'm extremely, it fires me up and makes me want to do more. And so, and Facebook Live even helps out more. They give little hearts. You're like, yeah. More stuff that I'm going to get more secrets. So that's just who I am. But one of the biggest sacrifices that is not in that video that I mentioned on the YouTube channel, especially with my love language, was the social acceptance of ignorant people that weren't willing to listen to what I had to share with them. So just sacrificing that acceptance from people and friends and some family that weren't, I call them ignorant, but I was ignorant for a while too when Lindsay was inviting me. But that's one of the sacrifices. And the fifth one, I say this is the most important, but they're all the most important. It is, who is counting on, and this you ask yourself, who is counting on me to make this happen? And so to give you like this in like 1 minute is, my wife was counting on me to make it happen. My family was counting on me to make it happen. Thinking bigger picture, my 2 sons that were not on earth yet were counting on me to make it happen. Every prospect that I breathed some hope into that they could achieve a goal was counting on me to make it happen. Every coach that I signed up was counting on me to be the example and make it happen. So holding myself accountable to that helped me stay focused on my bigger picture and work excited on that vision, like that third bricklayer, whistling while I work and being excited about what I do. So who's counting on you to make it happen? And so these are 5 questions that you can ask yourself every single day to help you stay focused on your goals, focused on your bigger vision, and aligned with the right activities that are going to take you there, aligned with the right people, aligned with the right action steps that you can take daily. And I'm going to leave you guys, you guys have those 5 questions. I don't want you to just write that down and say that was a good idea. I want you to try, holding yourself accountable at night and asking those questions out loud to yourself and answering honestly. Because the craziest, the coolest thing about this business, we were kind of talking about it with Gina and Jason last night, is this, the business always works. This business always works. But it's, it brings to the surface our insecurities or our life struggles or life problems. And then when those come up, we blame it on Beachbody. And so I want you guys to ask yourself those questions. Thank you. She got my baby over there. I want you guys to ask yourself those questions every day. And to leave you guys, there was a story that I read recently, and I'm not the best prepared. I should have had this image up for you guys to see. But there's this guy named Jim Thorpe in 1912. And there's a photo of him, and he's standing proud. He's up there like this. And he has mismatched shoes on. And one sock is longer, one sock short, and they're just mismatched. And he was a Native American that was representing the U.S. in the Olympics in 1912. And the morning of the Olympics, he had unfortunate things come into his life, like we all do, where he woke up and his running shoes were stolen. And so, where it seemed like all odds that morning were stacked against Jim, he, by some miracle, I guess you could call it, or knowing that his purpose that day was to represent the U.S. in the track and field, he was lucky enough to find some shoes in the dumpster. This was in 1912, and they weren't a match. They were mismatched. One was bigger than the other. So that's why in the picture he has like thick socks and wearing like a couple pairs of socks on one side, one's long, one's short. But he went on that day, despite all odds against him, having his running shoes stolen. Against all odds, he won 2 gold medals in those 1912 Olympics. And so what I want you guys to think about is, as you leave this for Saturdays, we're going to have sickness, we're going to have trials, we're going to have things come upon us, just like Jim did that day. But I want you guys to wake up with your purpose and ask yourself these 5 questions and just focus on running your own race and giving it everything you have every single day. And I thank you guys for letting me speak today, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Scottie. He's amazing, right?
Yeah.